Thanks for joining me. The card I'm going to make today is a little bit different than usual, still along the floral theme. I'm going to make some scrunched flowers and put them on quite a simple layout. Now I've made myself a card base with this bezel card called Hazel, which is a pretty green colour, and I'm going to now just do a top panel for the card. So I'm going to cut myself this doily, which is a Kaisercraft doily. You can really use any doily, any doily will work for this. I did toss up between another one which is a Marion Creatables doily die as well, but I think I'll go with the first one. And then to do my panel I want to cut it with the Stitch Rectangle Simon Says die, but I'm going to glue the doily on first so that I can cut through both layers with the rectangle die so that I'll get a stitched border right around. I was going to have the doily more central, but I decided to have it more to the left so that I had a little bit more white space on the panel. I've run this die through my embosser, and then I'm going to back it with some foam just to give the panel a little bit of dimension on the top of my card. Now I've already made a couple of flowers, a mauve one and a blue one, but I decided afterwards that I really wanted to do blue, pink and yellow rather than the mauves, and I've already got a mauve doily underneath. The flower dies that I've used are the Cherry Lynn floral dies, but really these flowers can be made with any die you have. Just bear in mind that the more petals you have, or the thinner the petals you have, the more scrunching you need to do, so it's probably better to start with a 5 or 6 petal flower to start with. Every petal, shape petal that you use will give you a slightly different result with your end flower. So I start off by, with a piece of kitchen towel, I've laid the petals out, and I'm just going to spritz them with water in a little spritz bottle. I'm going to do both sides. Just make sure that you don't make them absolutely sopping wet, they just need to be damp. And then what you do is grab a pen, it can be any pen or pencil or paintbrush handle, and you wrap one of the petals around the barrel of the pen, and then scrunch the petals towards the centre from the outsides. Now I'm sorry, some of my scrunching ended up being off camera. I put the zoom in a little bit, but I obviously didn't judge where I needed to be showing you, so I'm very sorry about that. So work around each of the petals, one petal at a time, scrunching them. They will look really weird and a bit messy, but just leave them as they are, and work your way through all of the petals, all of the layers, and then put them aside to dry. Now I forgot to mention the paper that I'm using for my flowers is just coloured photocopy paper. It's about 80 GSM. You don't want to use anything too thick like card for these flowers because you just won't get the crunch effect. But it works very well with the lighter weight paper. These flowers also might work very well with some old punches you might have in your stash that you haven't used in a while. I have some of the retro flower punches, and they work really well for these flowers. I'm now just going to get a sentiment ready. So I've got a banner cut with this Joy Crafts banner die, and I'm going to use a smaller size, and with the sentiment stamp I'm going to put best wishes on with Versafine onyx black ink, and then emboss it with clear embossing powder with my heat tool. Once the flowers are dry, I just go through and pull the petals out a little bit and work my way around the flower, just sort of unscrunching a little bit. It'll still have dimension, but it just isn't so tight and just forms more of a petal. So I work my way through all of them. I'm then going to shape each of them a little with my ball embossing tool and squishy mat. It makes a difference whether the petals facing down or upwards, so here's the example of them both. I'm going to do the one that's on the right, that's the petals are downwards, so I'm going to just flip each petal over so that the shaping's facing down, and just run my ball tool around the middle and just give it a little bit of shaping. The very centre flowers you can do it a little bit more, just press a little harder so that you get more of a cupped shape. And then once I've shaped the petals, I'm going to glue the layers together. So I start off by using my little precision tip applicator bot I've decanted some glue into, and I'm just going to go around the centre holes of each of the dies and glue them layer by layer. So the two biggest petals I'm going to lay on top of each other and just alternate the petals, and then do the same for the two small layer. When I finish gluing my flowers layers, I'm going to pop a flat back pearl pink or yellow one in the centre of each of these flowers with just a blob of glue underneath, and then I just fluffed the flowers up a little bit just to get them how I like them, and then pop them aside to just dry for a little while. Now that my flowers are ready, I'm going to get some leaves ready. So I've got two types of leaves in two different green colours. One of them is the Sue Wilson delicate fronds, and I've done that in a slightly darker green, and then I've got a lighter green rose leaves from the Rose Spellbinders Rose Creations die set. Sorry, I haven't got the packaging, I've had it for quite a long time. I'm going to just do a little bit of sponging around the rose leaves with Distress Shabby Shutters and a sponge, just to give a little bit of definition around the edge of the leaves. I'm then going to lay my flowers out on my doily panel, just roughly where I want them to go, and then I'm going to pop the leaves in just so I can see where I'm going to glue them. I've cut down the fronds and the leaf, the rose leaf, just a little bit so that they're a bit smaller in proportion, and I'll just dot them around the flowers, and then I'll start gluing them onto the panel. oops, I forgot. Before I sponged the other two leaves that I got ready, I ended up doing a little bit of line marking on the leaves with the mat. I'd used my pokey tool lying quite flat, and I ran a line down the centre of each of the leaves, and then to either side of that line, going outwards, just to sort of replicate veins on the leaves. It actually makes quite a difference to the finished result. Finally, I'll glue down my flowers on top. I'll just put a big blob of the glue at the base of each of the flowers, and then pop them on to the card, just rearranging the leaves a little if they've not quite in the right place, just while the glue's wet. And then finally I'm going to just dot a few of the little clear sequins around the card, just to give a little bit of sparkle. And that's the card finished. I hope you enjoyed this video showing how to make some scrunch flowers. I'd love for you to have a go at doing them. They're actually quite easy and quite fun to make. And I'd also love if you showed me some if you've made some. I'd love to get some feedback on how you found them. So thanks very much for joining me today. I'll see you next time with a new card. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Bye for now.